Hey everybody, welcome to Panel Surfing. I'm sitting here with none other than Barb Wire writer Chris Warner. Chris, how are you, sir?
Good, good.
Talking a little bit about Barb Wire, especially looking at the first issue, on sale July 1st, what was the challenge in introducing Barb in a way that would kind of perfectly show readers how much of a badass she is?
Well, it was pretty easy. We just, introduce her on about page 2 and she starts fighting, so.
I think it's really cool that the story of this Barb Wire series sort of deals with the gentrification of Steel Harbor, Barb's hometown. How much inspiration did you draw from maybe a little bit of your own experiences in this arena?
Well, actually quite a bit. I mean, this last year, after living in this one neighborhood for like 23 years, it became sort of hipster heaven, and my rent shot up by like 50%. And so with Barb, who has a kick-ass rock and roll bar in kind of a sleazy waterfront neighborhood that is now becoming a much more sort of, nice walk along the harbor, and she's kind of old school. She liked that kind of sleazy feel to it, and now that's changing. So the bounty hunting has always been something she's sort of done on the side to keep the dream alive, and so it's kind of that sort of theme that I think almost anyone can relate to. Is kind of like, especially if you know musicians or artists and the like, it's like, how long do you hold on to the dream, and what do you do to keep that going? And is there a point that you come to, like a lot of people do, that sort of like, I got to figure out either to stop doing this or ramp it up and give it one more shot?
Barb is obviously the center of the book, and but you mentioned that you brought some of the old characters back. What about some of the other citizens of Steel Harbor? I mean, what other characters are sort of part of Barb's circle when the story opens up?
Pretty much the same crew of people that she kind of had around her in her bar. This guy Alonzo, who's a bass player in this band called Death March, who sort of helps her on, he's sort of, hard to say comedy relief, because I try to put as much comedy in this thing as I can. But, and a couple of other, a bouncer that helps her out, and her manager of her bar, and there's just sort of, those characters kind of come popping up, and then I introduce new characters and stuff. So I think that if you've read the book before, you'll be able to slide right into it, but if you've never read the book before, it'll be no problem. You'll just, it's not, again, it sort of has a history, but it doesn't rely on that history. You don't have to know anything about what's going on previously to get into this.
I want to talk a little bit about Barb's target for this series, who has possibly one of the coolest names ever, Wyvern Stormblood.
Yeah.
That's with an umlaut over the U.
Yeah, you betcha.
What makes him sort of a challenge for Barb to hunt down?
He's a kind of a self-styled sort of like RPG character. So his real name is not Wyvern Stormblood. That's something he's chosen for himself, but he's also this completely psycho, drunk, homeless guy. And it's a lot of fun because he, again, being this sort of self-styled, Game of Thrones kind of character, while just completely blotto, 24/7. So, and I'm just trying to do good, basic, fun comics. And when I think of, and I'm not saying that I'm not doing them in some pastiche style of 1960s books or anything, but when I was first reading comics, I mean, I remember, Stan Lee would crack you up every page. So I'm trying to give that level of, rather than just having a 20-page fight scene and a bunch of gritted teeth and big sound effects, I'm trying to make it so that you come out of this thing and have had a few laughs and hopefully had a good time.
Well, I know that a lot of people are looking forward to having a good time with this book. I certainly am, and thanks so much for being here, Chris. We're looking forward to the book.
My pleasure.
If you're looking forward to Barb Wire, you should definitely check it out on comic shelves July 1st. I'm Steve Sanu, this is Chris Warner, and this is Panel Surfing.
Thank you.